Hello everyone, and welcome to my Days of Our Lives official. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Days of Our Lives spoilers indicate that Abigail DiMera is aware of her obligations, despite her dislike of tricking Chad DiMera in this way. All must proceed as planned because Abigail and Mark Green are frantic to release their mother, who is a prisoner, from Clyde Weston's grasp. Sadly, followers of TURMOIL are aware that this almost never occurs in Salem. There's no guarantee that Mark and Abigail will have a flawless plot for the remainder of the book because even the finest ideas might go horribly wrong. As Steve Johnson is snooping about, there are actually already some issues, and Kristen DiMera is highly suspicious. Days spoilers indicate that this is turning into a disaster that will only get worse because Abigail is beginning to feel something for Chad despite her deceit. However, Abigail wants to force Chad into marriage in order to give Clyde the DiMera wealth he desires. In light of this, it makes sense to believe that Chad and Abigail may eventually become passionate. If Abigail wasn't back in his bed, Chad would be a little strange to throw himself into a second marriage. Naturally, Chad is unaware that this phony Abigail has never visited the area before, so she may encounter a fresh difficulty in attempting to emulate the genuine Abby in the boudoir. The true issue, though, might arise later if Abigail becomes pregnant. If faux Abigail gives birth to Chad's child, she might have a very strong and lasting bond with him. Perhaps Abigail would commit herself to Chad irrevocably and give him a reason to overlook all of her lies. Ultimately, Clyde is the evildoer who is intimidating Abby's mother and making her follow his laws. That doesn't absolve Abigail of her part in deceiving Chad, but it does suggest that he might be able to forgive her misdeeds a little more easily. This is particularly true if Days includes a surprise pregnancy in the mix. Giving Thomas and Charlotte DiMera a younger brother via Abigail may change everything and enable her to start a real family with Chad. In any case, our day's forecasts indicate that Chad and Abigail may soon experience some passion, which could deepen her feelings and add a pregnant twist. According to spoilers for Days of Our Lives, surprises are never far away in Salem. Follow us for updates on all the incredible news to come. According to spoilers for Days of Our Lives, Chad DiMera, Billy Flynn, is doing everything in his power to make Abigail DiMera, Annalyn McCord, remember. Supporters are aware that Abigail is actually Jonah Robinson's, Mark Green's, sister. Currently, nobody is aware of that. The strain is on since Abigail is being doubted by both Kristen DiMera, Stacey Hayduke, and Steve Johnson, Stephen Nichols. Chad is probably going to consider hypnosis at some point. Could Abigail confess to being a phony while in a hypnotic state? Will Marlena reveal the scammer and break her medical oath? As you read, let's discuss possible future developments for this plot. Spoilers for Days of Our Lives, Abigail DiMera's return. According to TURMOIL spoilers, Chad was prepared to murder James Reed's character Clyde Weston. Clyde avoided execution by maintaining that he did not kill Abigail. Clyde was adamant that Abigail was still alive. Chad first didn't think Clyde was telling the truth. But Chad has been in Salem long enough to know that resurrections occur frequently. TURMOIL teasers, Mark Green's purpose. While Abigail enchants Chad, suspicion is growing among others. Before, but in vain, Kristen DiMera, Stacey Hayduke, attempted to warn Chad. Additionally, Steve has the impression that the mysterious woman is not Abigail. Abigail is feeling bad about tricking Chad and everyone else in the meanwhile. While Abigail is once again debating whether to give in, Clyde is putting pressure on Mark. Mark pays Clyde a visit in jail this week. Mark is under pressure from Clyde to ensure that Abigail and Chad marry the knot. Later on though, Mark has the uncanny feeling that his sister is genuinely falling for Chad. Spoilers for Days of Our Lives, Chad DiMera's pressure. According to teasers on Days of Our Lives, Chad might also be under pressure. Chad had previously warned to keep his eyes wide open by Kristen once. Later this week, Kristen will appeal to Chad once more. Furthermore, Steve is positive that the woman is not Abigail. Steve is determined to uncover the truth, which is why he is questioning Clyde. If Chad receives enough pressure, he may decide to take Abigail to Marlena. Chad might feel that trying hypnosis is worthwhile even though it's not a guarantee. Abigail may be anxious, but she is aware that she cannot use an excuse to get out of this one without getting caught. Is it therefore feasible that after Abigail awakens from hypnosis, Marlena will say she didn't say anything? What if Marlena actually records the session in secret? Marlena could be reluctant to tell Chad this knowledge, even though she would feel obligated to. Marlena needs to adhere to HIPAA. Although the soap opera hasn't always been good at it, Kayla Johnson, Mary Beth Evans, brought it up recently. Marlena might therefore be forced to keep this information to herself. If that's the case, and people learn about it, they can become quite enraged. However, Marlena might encounter a moral conundrum. Does Marlena's medical license justify the truth? According to teasers for Days of Our Lives, Mark Green and his sister Maren say they want money from Chad DiMera. Well, there are plenty of wealthy families in Salem, so why pick on Chad specifically? Why act as though Maren is a resurrected version of Abby DiMera? Spoilers for Days of Our Lives, Clyde Weston is clearly associated. Days in the life according to spoilers, Clyde Weston, James Redd, is responsible for everything that is happening to faux Abby and her brother Mark. One can only assume that Clyde's leverage stems from the fact that Mark is the one with custody of his younger brothers and that their parents' actions left the kids orphans. Is it possible that Abby played a role in their parents' passing and that's why they think Chad will suffer the consequences? Maybe it was Abby's Clyde research that resulted in their parents' deaths. Could it be that Clyde was driving the car that caused their collision when Mark or Maren were behind the wheel? DOL spoilers, Mark Green might be dead or Clyde Weston. It's possible that Mark's parents provided the funding for him to go medical school because they were employed by Clyde. It's possible that Clyde volunteered to cover Mark's remaining educational costs in exchange for a future payment that Mark was unaware would be so significant. Is Clyde putting Mark's siblings at danger in order to control him and Maren? Is this related to tormenting Chad DiMera? Ultimately, Chad attempted to murder Clyde but was unsuccessful. But on a few occasions, Chad played a crucial role in Clyde's apprehension. Is Clyde only making Chad pay by doing all of this? Is this the main reason Abby's body vanished? What other plans might Clyde have? Days in Our Lives spoilers, will Abby DiMera's true self emerge? There are rumors that Abby might return to the city and end this whole mess. Could Abby survive and return to Salem? Will Abby allow another lady to take her place, or will she defeat Clyde and his cronies and then return to her rightful role with her family? Dr. Rolfe, Richard Wharton, possibly like so many others, took Abby's body until he could revive her. When Roll discovers Clyde's plans, will he let Abby go so she may protect her family from him? After all he has attempted to do to these young people, Chad and Abby, will Clyde finally get what is coming to him?